is set to be complete June 30th, 2025, so this is just to let you guys know. We don't need a motion.
We'll move on to consent agreements now.
All right, the first one is Kim Nguyen. So A, she was performing manicure with a license. She was in the process of applying for reciprocity, didn't have that yet. So in the consent agreement, there's a $200 fine, $350 cost for $550 total, 1 year probation, and there's still a case pending against the salon. B is Chantal White. The violation was just an unlicensed salon. The consent agreement has a $200 fine, $350 cost for a total of $550, and a 1 year probation. And then we're proceeding separately against another individual involved in that situation. C is Owan Rivera. Violations were operating an unlicensed salon, performing services in that salon, and then having waxing equipment without cosmetology salon registration. Their fine was a total of $600, cost $350 for a total of $950, and a 1 year probation on the license.
It says 2 on that.
Well, it's also blink out loud, so, I'm sorry, Owan Rivera.
Yeah.
Name of it. Owan Rivera is C, or which one is on D?
C, yeah.
C, I just have one for Owan Rivera.
This is the typo, and it has 2 on our page.
Got 3 violations for Owan Rivera, but, one more consent agreement. D is Brittany Andrews, DBA Blink Out Loud. Was operating an unregistered salon, performing services without a license. Fine was $400, cost of $450, total of $850, and a 1 year probation on the license. Erica Barnes is E, operating an unregistered salon, $200 fine, $415 cost, total of $650, and a 1 year probation. Dream Nails and Aesthetic, and Antweed Inn. Had 1 unlicensed worker there at inspection. Also was already on probation from a prior consent at the time of violation. So we did a $200 fine, $315 cost, $550 total, 30-day suspension of the personal license, probation for the rest of the 2 years, a 2 year probation for the salon, has to post copies of the consent for 2 years, and they're subject to quarterly inspections. Next is Chelsea Eugene and Everything Glows and Aesthetic, which is H&I. They had 1 unlicensed individual. Fine is $250, $315 cost, total $550, and a 1 year probation. And the last one is Trandan Van Lin, is K. Had 2 unlicensed workers. Fine is $400, cost of $350, total $750, 1 year probation.
No questions about the consent agreements, everything in.
You can move to accept.
I make a motion.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept the consent agreements as stated.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to declaratory order. Mary, on A, do you have any information on that?
I still do not have the information we need to move forward with that one.
Okay.
And the second one that I received is, in your packet.
Yes.
And it is a question about, the applicability of Rule 321. And it's a student asking whether they can participate in certain, hair shows, competitions or similar events. And really that is addressed in Rule 319, field trips, seminars, workshops, shows, and community service for students. And so it would be really controlled by 319, which requires it to be under the supervision of an instructor. And they can get credit, but not compensation, because you get student hour credit up to the limits set forth in the rule. So unless anybody has any additional information, whatever, we can issue a written opinion directing the student to the regulations in 319.
Because it falls underneath that.
That was the note I had made after I
Right.
received it.
Yeah, it really falls underneath field trips. I think her question was, if she was participating in those activities, would that be considered performing cosmetology service underneath the rule in 321? So it actually doesn't, because it's actually for a field trip supervised by an instructor.
Right. One of the things asked is there an exception for students if these services are approved or overseen by a licensed cosmetologist or an actively licensed cosmetology educator? It can't be overseen by a cosmetologist, only by a cosmetology instructor.
Their instructor, their school, not just an instructor, yeah.
Correct.
Definitely be
Thank you for
specific.
bringing that point up. It has to be
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah.
Following that 319 field trip.
Right.
Right. And it's gotta be documented and monitored.
Okay, so the board will, with the board's approval, we'll send a written resolution and answer your question.
I make a motion to respond in writing to Latanya.
Okay, any opposed? All in favor? Okay. We'll move on to new business. Mr. Steve.
Alrighty, folks, on the agenda here, it says you should have introduction and approval of, because on contract, we always give you at least a month to look over the contract. So what we have will be the introduction of contract renewal for Sherry Morris for the James Raines contract. This is for our lawyer who just left his corporation, and for the Roy Abear CPA firm. The approval for our attorneys has always been a 3-year contract, but now the Attorney General has informed everyone that attorneys can only have a 1-year contract. So we're going to have to do a 1-year contract every year for our attorneys. We are introducing the contracts. Sherry Morris would be a 1-year contract for $75,000. James Raines Corporation would be a $75,000 contract for 1 year. And the Roy Abear would be a 3-year contract for $75,000, which is $25,000 a year. That is for the CPA firm who comes in and looks at all of the books to make sure that we are good before we have our approval by the Attorney General and everyone on our contract. So give you this month to look over these contracts. If you have any questions, please either call or send us an email, and we will respond to any questions that you may have, or if you have any, leave them today and we will take care of them. As you know, we have been extremely busy with the bill that we have before the legislature, which was to increase our fees to increase of $25. It passed the House, it went to the Senate committee. The Senate committee took a hard look at it and decided that we only needed a $10 raise. So they reduced it from $25 to $10. Then it was sent to the Finance Committee yesterday. We were, Revenue Committee. We were in the Senate all afternoon yesterday. They happened to meet on Sunday. I guess they had fried chicken or something over there. I don't know why they met on Sunday, but they did. So anyway, we got to go on Sunday, and the committee went over the bill again, and as it had been amended by the former committee and approved it, it will go now to the Senate to be approved. It will have to go back to the House because there was an amendment from the House as they passed it. It will have to go back and be passed again by the House. If it is passed with the amendment, then it will go to the governor for a signature. And so that would be fine if it just goes through the last steps like that. We would receive a $10 increase, and I think that will certainly help us for a while. And we had considerable help, very nice people helping us with the bill, and I'm just happy to be able to report to the board that there is a possibility of at least a $10 increase, which is certainly better than nothing. So, other than that, everything, we're still running on schedule with all the tests. I have not received any information from schools or anything, problems. So I think we're running efficiently, and there are no major problems for the board to have to worry about at this time.
All right, so everyone, as I said, take a look at the contracts, and we'll vote on that next month. We move on to Sherry's report.
My report really is the status of the litigation. This time of year, so the fee bill, Mr. Young just reported on that. There were several bills relative to alternative hair design or braiding, and those have not moved from the House to the Senate yet, so they haven't been scheduled. I was just checking the schedules for this morning. Let's see what they're scheduled. Amen. They were amended, I guess from the last meeting, they were amended, but you might recall Representative Moore came and we discussed amendments. They were not amended in the fashion that the board recommended.
Okay. That concludes everything that we've covered. So this meeting is now adjourned.